Hey everyone, my name is Justin Hodges. I am the founder of the WealthTenders, which is a wealth management firm located here in Hawaii, but it's a virtual firm as well. We have clients everywhere. So currently, just to give you a little background, I manage money for about 300 people, and it's about $35 million or so in AUM, or assets under management, is what we refer to it as. So there's your credentials here. And I'm going to parlay that into how much can you spend with the $3 million portfolio. And I'm pulling a little bit from a case study here, as my largest client is right around this dollar amount currently. And so I see this, and they're incredible people, and they're very frugal in a lot of ways too. But they can do whatever they like now at this point in their early 60s, just for reference. And we still haven't even triggered their Social Security yet, essentially. And then one has a pension from years in the DOE, actually, the Department of Education here at the state level in Hawaii. So a little wild, but this is the asset level, essentially, of what a $3 million can get to you, and why it is such a may seem like a pie in the sky number for a lot of folks just starting out, but for some people, based on the returns and asset levels we've seen over the last decade or so, this is ballpark kind of what everything's done, essentially. Especially, again, if you live below your means and you invest the difference and you don't do anything too bougie. So once you have this $3 million, essentially, for you, it's important always to, of course, keep it invested. You don't want to just leave it in the bank. Interest rates do change over time as the Fed toggles rates, and your money market yields or returns go up and down, essentially. This also impacts treasuries too, as well. I mean, it really impacts a lot of things too. So just in a general nutshell, if you have a $3 million portfolio, or not accounting for anything tax related to, because again, there are different different forms of taxes based on the account type it's in, whether it's pre-tax, Roth, brokerage account, etc. So just kind of pulling generalized numbers here, of course, and not really diving into your personal tax scenario or which account we use first and whatnot. Just real simple, a $3 million portfolio, and I've kind of outlaid this over here for you, is about $90,000 a year. And for all you monthly people, I broke that down to a month for you too, so $7,500 a month. It's, again, right now, currently, just give you an example, money market yields are 3.5 to 4.5% right now. And most high yield savings accounts I see are just, again, money markets and your custodian's brokerage accounts or whatever. So not that I recommend having $3 million fully allocated just to money market or any one asset class, but if you did currently, that would generate a 3% rate of return, essentially guaranteed as well, which is $90,000 a year, which is, that number alone is higher than what the median salary is in the US currently. So it's powerful. It's very powerful. I'd say it's pretty hard to mess up from here too, moving forward, but it is what it is. So when you're looking at a withdrawal rates for how much you can pull when you do have this much in assets, you kind of won the race in a lot of ways here too. So maybe you're not chasing a 10% rate of return anymore like you were when you were in large cap, growth, contributing to your 401ks, you had your career, you were working and whatnot. A 10% rate of return would be fantastic for the year, because on a $3 million account, it's $300,000, which is that bottom option there I have for you too as well. So if we have a year like that, wonderful. It's a huge year. If you need to spend 10% a year for you, maybe we allocate more for you, of course, aggressively, essentially. Now, if you don't have children, there's some impact to that too. You don't have an estate plan, then you can toggle your withdrawal rate up a lot higher, obviously, if you do want to essentially use all of your money, or just, again, what we've seen in asset levels last 10 to 15 years, it's very reasonable to make 10% a year at least. If you pull the S&P 500 back 100 years, it's very reasonable to make that, obviously. So if you want to live on 10% and you have no other care in the world, essentially, it's not unrealistic for your $3 million portfolio to provide you $300,000 a year, and for the portfolio to stay at $3 million throughout your retirement. But for anyone else who, again, you do have some estate plans, essentially do have children, you have stuff you care about, you want to leave some assets to, you're probably looking at a little bit lower rate of return. Or if you're just more conservative in nature, you no longer have to place your assets at risk. to try and achieve 10% essentially. You can go for some of that 3, 4, 5%. And if you're able to accrue $3 million, you're probably able to live within a basic budget as well. So this is, these numbers aren't wild for you to again live on. And so 4% rate of return. So again, $3 million portfolio, 3% a year is $90,000 a year, or about $7,500 a month. A 4% rate of return or withdrawal rate, however you want to look at that, is $120,000 or $10,000 a month for you to live off of. And then a 5% rate of return is $150K a year, or about $12,500 a month. Again, not factoring in any of your personal tax and whatnot, what kind of account type we're pulling from. But that's essentially how much you can spend with a $3 million portfolio. And then sometimes it actually gets a little difficult to spend more than what this could make based on how it's allocated as well. I have seen that with some of my higher net worth clients as well too. So sounds like a good problem to have. It is. It should be motivation though to keep putting away, into all your accounts throughout your life consistently, letting compounding do its thing. This is, it's nothing fancy happened here to get people to this area outside of, again, living below their means and investing the difference over time. A lot of them did this through their 401ks. They did it through a Roth IRA on the side, did it through a brokerage account, and they probably own their primary home and maybe one or two others at most. And that's it. It's boring, long-term, traditional stuff. There's nothing fancy about it. And they didn't have to gamble or risk it over time. The secret is time for it, really. And that's essentially it. So hopefully that guy, this helps you guys. For those of you folks who are out there who have a $3 million portfolio and you're wondering how much you can spend of it, and you're thinking, should I work another year? Should I not? Is this enough? Is this not enough? Some of these numbers can align with you, but I also encourage you to think through everything else when it comes to retirement here too, as well, like intentional spending, just, what makes you happy, essentially, to taking that trip, doing what you should do with this hard-earned money, essentially, too, as well, is another year of work really worth it if your goal is to hit 3.2 million instead of 3, or whatever. So you got to balance all these things in life. So it's your health, your wealth, and typically your just what keeps you happy inside that brain of yours and that mind of yours. So relationships, etc. So this is me encouraging you to do something you love, especially when you have enough money. Do something that makes you happy. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you on the next one.